The next film from Christopher Nolan, the greatest director of our age, is finally released. It's my most anticipated film of the year, and I didn't think I'd ever get to see it. Besides the Inception re-release a couple weeks ago, the last film I saw in a theater was Birds of Prey back in February of this year. This was a very, very warm welcome back to the theater. A Christopher Nolan film, and one that didn't disappoint. Nolan is known for his mind-bending films, and this one is no exception. In fact, it may just be the most mind-bending one there is. And right off the bat, I'm not going to be spoiling anything in the film. Don't worry about that. So, I'm not going to be going too much into the plot. I'll just say that Nolan has yet again created another revolutionary story here. And Inception was like baby food compared to the full entree of confusion that Tenet is. But I don't mean that in a bad way. I've only seen the film once, and the more I've thought about it, the more it all connects together and just works. And I know for a fact it will make much more sense on a second viewing. And to those who have not seen the film yet, I would describe it as a mix of James Bond meets The Terminator meets Inception, which is just as crazy as it sounds. And the most Bond part of the movie might just be the villain, who is played by Kenneth Branagh. He really does feel like a villain ripped straight out of a Bond movie and given a sci-fi twist. And Nolan has made some statements that kind of make it sound like he wants this film to be this generation's Bond. There's a lot of globe-trotting elements to the film, to these exotic locations throughout the whole movie, that really does make it feel that way. The set pieces are so grand in scale. The cinematography is just so gorgeous to look at. I did see the film in IMAX, so I might be a little biased, but hey, that's the way Nolan intended it to be seen. The visuals are just breathtaking, but also just the action scenes are simply gorgeous to view. The fight scenes are well choreographed. There is a hallway scene in here. I have never seen something like it before. It is such a new, inventive way to showcase a fight scene, and it was one of the best pieces of the movie. So when I first heard that Nolan's regular composer, Hans Zimmer, was not going to be composing this film, I was worried and I was a little disappointed. The music in Nolan's films are some of the best scores of all time, in my opinion. They're some of the best parts of the films and some of Hans Zimmer's best work, obviously. But Ludwig Göransson, who scores this film, does an amazing job. Seriously. I really did not miss Hans Zimmer in this. The score is so loud and bombastic, and at times even feels like a palindrome in and of itself, in the way that it bounces back and forth. And speaking of loud, this is without a doubt the loudest movie I've ever seen. And this is something that I've been hearing a lot of complaints about, was that it was difficult to hear conversations due to the loud sound effects or music going on. And I can totally understand those complaints. Seriously, I experienced that myself a few times in the movie. However, I will not be joining in on those complaints, because I know that on multiple viewings, I will definitely catch all the dialogue said, and this film was just a film made for multiple viewings. It basically requires it. And the sound effects and the score were some of the best, most visceral parts of the film, so I wouldn't want to sacrifice those. As a huge Nolan fan, this film just felt like a culmination of everything Nolan had accomplished up to this point. The protagonist is a trained fighter who uses high-tech gadgets, like Batman. The plot is heavily inspired from both Memento and Inception. There's a crazy battle sequence, which you can just tell that Nolan feels so much more comfortable doing after his experience filming Dunkirk. And there's plenty more than this. I'm sure I could connect it to all of his films in some way, but that would be an entire video by itself. As would analyzing this film. I could make a whole video just pulling apart the plot of the film and all the symbolism and whatnot. I would feel a lot more comfortable doing that upon a second viewing, or maybe even a third viewing, and maybe I will do that in the future. Because this film is just completely dense. There's so much to pick up on at all times in the film. And that's really my favorite kind of movie. That's why I appreciate Nolan and Kubrick so much. All of their films pretty much have that aspect to them. Unfortunately, though, there is a complaint here that I've been hearing a lot of that I do agree with. And that is that the characters aren't all that deep. And I felt like the connection that I was meant to have with them felt somewhat forced. And this was actually my main complaint with Nolan's last film, Dunkirk. The characters in that movie were virtually non-existent. It was as if we were just watching random people in the film do heroic things sometimes. And it's certainly not as severe in Tenet. The characters do actually feel like real characters here, but I definitely could have used some more development specifically between the protagonist and his love interest. But all in all, that is a minor complaint compared to this cinematic monster of a film. Like I said, I haven't gone to the theater to see a new film since Birds of Prey like 7 months ago. And this was such an awesome welcome back party. This movie just really reminded me like why I love movies so much. This is just like, I love it. I get how some people would not be as in love with this film as a lot of Nolan's other pieces of his catalog. It's not as mainstream appeal as, say, the Batman films or Interstellar or something. But man, as a die-hard Nolan fan, I absolutely loved this experience. He has just pulled it off yet again. I cannot believe it. He's never even made a mediocre film. He's never even made just a good film. He consistently makes great to blow me away films, and this one blew me away. This messes with your mind. It causes you to think, then keep thinking, and then keep thinking some more. It's visually stunning. It's entertaining without ceasing. And it's a whole new revolution of film. I have never seen a film quite like Tenet, and I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Gonna go see it again. Cannot wait for that. I want everyone to experience the madness that is Tenet. Do yourself a favor. Go out and see it. You may not like it as much as I did, but it's certainly unlike nothing you've seen before. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you thought of Tenet down below. There's a lot to talk about. Would love to discuss this with anyone. And please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you for my next review.